I'm Elisabeth Ellison. I'm a bass player. Well, this is how I knew I was going to be an early music player. When I was about 9 or 10, I was a violin student, and at that time, if you wanted a custom t-shirt, that consisted of picking out these felt letters, and the t-shirt shop would press them onto the shirt for you. So I had this black and white striped shirt, and I had it made up to say La Primavera by Vivaldi, Opus 8, number 1 is cool. And it had white letters on black stripes, black letters on the white stripes, and it took up the whole back of the shirt. And at about that time, also, my folks gave me a David Monroe album. That was my absolute favorite. I just listened to that on the daily. And when I was in 7th grade, we had this social studies assignment to write a presentation about a topic from history. So I picked early instruments, and I drew them on a poster board. And for the presentation, I wrote this rap. And this is about 10 years before rap was even on the radio, so I don't know where that came from. But it was only later when I got into high school that I was able to start playing the Viola da Gamba. And I couldn't tell you exactly how it was played differently than modern styles, or why you should. I just knew that I recognized it when I heard it. So I guess that's how I knew. Playing in a consort? Yeah, mainly it's an outlet to play with other viol players. But there's also what I call the gamelan effect, where if you're sitting very close together, the instruments will actually pick up the resonance of the other instruments and sound as if it's one instrument. Everybody has to be tuned to the same temperament, so it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's pretty transcendent. Well, my dad had very good taste in music, and was an audiophile. He had a good record collection. So, when you're a young student and you're always being told what to study, and you're not choosing your own tutors, I'd have to say I didn't develop particular influences until I got older, and I was at liberty to spend the amount of time that I wanted to on listening. But from my dad's record collection, I have to say one influence that was unexpected was Wendy Carlos. And as famous and innovative as she is, it's not always brought up that she is a good Baroque musician, that she could bring out through an electronic instrument the voicing and the phrasing that makes up good Baroque playing. So it's not a primary influence on playing, but it was always around, and I always thought it was significant. But one thing that was not an influence when I was young was rock or popular music, and I didn't know anything about it whatsoever until I was about to get out of college, and I was sort of recruited into playing in a rock band. And the band members had to sit on the floor with me by the hour, just for days and days, teaching me the songs by rote. And they thought it was hilarious that I had never listened to the Beatles or any rock music whatsoever. Through that process, I learned how to learn songs by ear. and that remains very valuable. But yeah, same, it wasn't an influence until I got older. Well, I play the bass viol. I have these little instruments that I play for earlier styles, and I'm mainly a double bass player, and I play the electric bass on some stuff. So I think it's just a matter of how much time I can put in. I think I'm gonna have to live to be 11D1 to have enough time to learn the tenor viol and the treble. That's all it's about, is just having the time to put in. Well, if you're talking about Renaissance polyphony, what makes it unique is that it requires constant mental ciphering, to listen to as well as to play, because I would say it's allergic to cadences. When you only have a couple of cadences in a piece, you have to find other focus points and anticipation and resolution, because the way we've come up is we're trained to orient ourselves toward the cadential rhythm. It takes just a different kind of ear to find what's going on in polyphony. Performance-wise, I find it to be similar to playing in a string quartet, although I didn't get to do that a whole lot, except when I was very young and played violin. But just in regards to playing synchronously and knowing when one has the melody versus the accompaniment. Well, yeah, the performances that have been particularly transformative, just in the way it's followed for me, they almost always involve singers, occasionally playing in a very small, say, duet or trio with other instrumentalists. But singers tend to have a primary role in conveying the story of the music, and I really feel that it's my job to also be a storyteller through supporting and delivering what the singer is doing. So, there have been some, say, Messiah performances that I'll always remember. There was one in particular. I was playing a Verdi Requiem, and the bass singer was standing where the back of his elbow was practically against my music stand, and I could feel some of his notes actually resonating in the body of my bass. And it was amazing how much overlap there was in range. And I felt that with the instrument, the body of the instrument itself, that the singer and I were playing off each other. And I don't know if that made it all the way to the audience. Sometimes you don't know if the audience really got it until later. Sometimes you get so involved in what's going on musically that you lose awareness that the audience is there. And that can be kind of a peak experience, because there's a level of playing to them which is really, really important. But then there's sort of another level where the music itself takes over. Oh yeah, there was a funny moment. When my son was little, he went to everything with me, and he grew up with musicians, around musicians all the time. So he didn't really have any boundaries as far as what was going on. And I was playing a symphony concert one time, and he was backstage with some little Game Boy thing, and he needed to charge it. And when the concert started, they turned off the lights backstage, and he couldn't find the outlet. So he walked out on stage with this thing, and he said, hey, the lights are off, and I can't find where to plug this in. And my stand partner saw him before I did, and he moved over so that he moved his bass over so we were. My son was behind the basses, and hopefully the conductor couldn't see him, and we were just go back. We'll talk about this later. But I think some people in the audience. Oh yeah, I'm in the very early stages of sketching in plans to perform a concert in New York City about of medieval music about pilgrimage. It's something that music I've worked on a lot over the last year or so, and yeah, but that's early stages, and I'm working on a performance certificate in double bass, and I'm planning to play the first Bach cello suite in recital with an accompaniment that is the chords, analysis of the chords, is that I'm writing out for to be played on the lute, because a lot of times we hear those particular pieces, the cello suites, played in a very linear fashion, and I tend to hear them as ornamented chord changes. And I have this feeling that if you use an instrument that isn't too dominant, like the lute, and play the chords, that it'll allow that dimension of those pieces to be heard. That's another one of my wild hair ideas, and it is pending approval from my instructor. So I'm in the process of getting close to finishing writing out the chords, and we'll see where that goes. And then sometime this year, I have a friend who's an expert in medieval Italian dance, who I would like to collaborate with to choreograph some of the long named pieces in the Timothy McGee. Oh, yeah, I did put the book out in this book in the medieval instrumental dances. So the longer pieces that have individual names don't have a specific choreography, to my understanding, and they're challenging to play. There's a lot musically to say in there, but to choreograph it and really bring it to life is going to take somebody who's an expert in that particular style of dance. And yeah, I know some people. Man, there's so many. I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot of people I would love to play with. Historically, I really wish I was in the pool of musicians to play for Handel. I think, I just never get tired of playing that, and man, to have had some sort of window into his process, I would really have loved that.